just in case. So we're recording the Zoom window just in case the broadcast studio decides it wants to crap out on us. We will not lose the interview.
Okay.
All right. So you got nominated for award. You got a potential distribution person interested. What else?
AOF. I talked to Dell, and he said I could have a private screening for distributors at AOF this year.
Yep. That's going to be cool.
And I think people already know this, but we already have a letter of intent to distribute through Parables TV as one of our options.
Gotcha. And who runs Parables TV again?
Bob Higley and Isaac Hernandez, and that is Olympus that's the network, and they own a bunch of faith-based networks.
Gotcha. Okay.
And even though Letters to Daniel is not a faith-based film, it is considered an inspirational film. Even though someone who once read it told me it needed more happy parts because people don't like to be depressed. And I'm like, you missed the point of the story.
Yeah, that's interesting. Everyone has their own different take and spin on stuff.
He's a nice guy, and he's a really good screenwriter. I just didn't think he had other feedback that was really good for it. It's just that one was like,
Right. Anything else?
No. I think I told you that we won for Best Romance Under 20 Pages at Nova Fest for Saving Hope, which was a short script of ours.
Yep. And how about with you personally? Everything going good? Everything okay?
My mood is better than it's been in a long time, but I still have that anxiety, and my stomach is constantly upset.
Gotcha.
And I know it's because I'm anxious about with it being 8 weeks away. It seems like a long way, but it'll go by like nothing.
Oh, it'll be here before you know it. For sure. Other than that, everything else is good, though?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's watch the trailer for Letters to Daniel, the full feature film. And then we're going to come back.
Actresses playing the leads.
Do you have a new one?
No.
Oh, you know what? Another announcement is that we're going to be doing a live script reading online.
Oh, that's right.
Using Zoom.
We're going to do an online table read.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. We're going to get the whole cast together.
That's 44.
Or as many as can make it.
Oh my God, 44 people in this Zoom.
Going to put my facilitation skills to the test.
Yes.
Before I have to yell at everybody in person.
He's our line producer, Annabelle.
Oh, wow.
Wait a minute. What does that mean? We'll talk about that at the end of the show. Here's the trailer. All right, Amy, I'm not muting the Zoom window so you can hear me.
Okay.
And know when it's time to start, but I am turning off my camera.
Dear Daniel, life did not always look like this. They say life happens when you're busy making other plans. For me, it was bipolar disorder. It crept in and systematically, quickly dissembled my ability to function in society and rendered me scared, lost, and lonely. I lost the ability to focus, and the simplest of tasks became too overwhelming. Even though it felt like I had been abandoned, I still had one person in my corner out there on the front lines with me. Missy Goodman, writing partner, best friend, soul sister, caregiver. This disease will bury you if it goes untreated. But with the help of medication, therapy, and the support of an amazing caregiver, I've gone on to be in a one-day-at-a-time recovery and have a career in the arts. This is the story of how me and Missy got there together. This is Letters to Daniel.
Japanese-style fable, Gaijin, Fish Out of Water, and many others. And she has many other acting credits to her name, as well as being the founder and director of Annabelle Munro's most important films. She has teamed up with previous Recovery Unplugged guest Del Weston on several occasions. Please welcome Annabelle Munro. Why don't we start with how we met and what makes AOF so special for both of us?
Yeah, we met in 2016 during the gala show for the Action on Film, and we were in the elevator together, right?
Right. And I watched your movie with you.
Watched my movie and got freaked out, but I think that was, yeah, that's right. Wasn't it the year after? Whatever. But I met you, and then during that great ceremony, both of us won fabulous awards, and I don't know, I just had that feeling about you when I met you, and I thought you were so brave. You actually moved me to tears when you gave your speech. It told me a lot about the Action on Film as well, to open doors for to give people who are going through mental illness or a door, because most of the time creatives, they are creative because they are going through something or have experienced something, and I just found that really fabulous all around. It gave big credit to Del Weston and the AOF, seeing you win there, and also to yourself. I thought you were just the most courageous, beautiful person there.
You're very sweet.
Sure.
Tell us about your newest venture in Annabelle Munro's most important films, held as part of AOF MegaFest. What makes it unique and what inspired you to start it?
Del and Teresa have been mentoring me for the last couple of years, and they made me the queen in 2016, and it just was a title initially, and I went to see, to Las Vegas. They moved to Las Vegas, and I thought, let me do something with this title, and let me just try and help people to feel comfortable. I love bragging on other people's behalf. There's like something I really enjoy, like, oh, meet this amazing filmmaker, and he's also doing scores, and are you not looking for scores right now? So that was a really good fit, and so the role of the queen kind of developed itself. And then the next year I bought myself some crowns, and I also thought that if I had a choice, if I had my own festival, I would really love to honor filmmakers that have this special message, because I became a filmmaker. I believe that movie making in particular is more powerful than politics in many ways, because it's a sacred job, in my opinion. If you look at how theater started, it was priests who were trying to touch people's hearts with story and to have them experience catharsis, like have them feel the emotions. What happens if you do something bad? What happens if you do something good? And in my ideal world, filmmaking or storytelling can create the vision of our society, what's next, and we can foresee problems, we can solve problems in our heads, we can inspire people and can cause a big awakening. Obviously that gets misused as propaganda many times, but if we have conscious filmmakers who have a message, like yourself, Amy, and we give that the special bravo, more of this, that's my contribution to the Action on Film. I talked to Del about it. I said, look, if there's a way to just particularly honor movie makers who are very skilled but who also have a message, because I know as a producer that message is always like, whoa, we want genre, we want horror, and I get it, and it's great, and I'm all for making money, but can't you just at the same time really do something amazing that's good for on a deeper level as well? Shakespeare did it. I think we should always have that that all, you know, encompassing desire to do something really awesome with our art. And it can be entertaining as hell. I'm not against entertainment. It's actually my festival. I'm particularly honoring movies that manage to have a message and be entertaining, because we want to make movies for everyone, not just for people who already know, you know. We want to bring a message out there subtly, not preaching to the choir. So that's what the festival is about.
Okay. You also have a project you recently launched on Seed and Spark in The Weight of Perfection. What is it about, and did you feel it important? Why did you feel it important that it be your next film?
My dear friend Jennifer approached me if I could help with a project, and I looked at it, and it was about eating disorders. I myself had an eating disorder when I was younger and overcame it. I survived it, actually. Many people don't know that it's the most deadly mental illness out there, right? Because every fourth person dies on the long-term effects of eating disorders. And of course, I was immediately in, and then I met Leanne, the writer and lead actress and the co-director of the film. We're going to be directing together. And she's just a phenomenally talented and courageous lady as well. So we just went on like a house on fire, and I cannot not do this project. Okay. It's so close to home, you know, and I have a lot to say about the topic as well.
As I've imparted many times, and as you touched on just a few seconds ago, I know you as the Queen of AOF. What is that exactly, and how did it come to pass?
The Queen of the AOF came together after I won this acting award, where I met you in 2016, and a little later I go on my Facebook profile and find photoshopped crowns all over my photo. What is that? A couple of weeks later, knocked out the announcement, then the AOF has a queen. But that was pretty much it, right? There was like, you got a title. So I went, and I was, you know, I'm an intuitive person, so I take things with a grain of salt, but also I take them serious at the same time, and I see what's there. When I met Del, everything that I experienced with Del was always a plus and came from such a strong background of support that I had a gut feeling that this was not just jokes and bubbles with that queen title, but if I wanted to make something of it, there you go, Mrs. Munro. And that's what I did. I went in there and thought, what can I contribute best as a queen? Imagine this title was like, you know, real, and it is real in a way. So what would I do? I would help people to connect with each other and just make everybody comfortable and represent their action on film. And I've been doing that ever since. And, you know, with every year that goes by, I'm getting more people involved and interested, and I'm part of this fabulous action on film family as well. And I hope people know they can ask me for anything and everything, and I try my best to help, you know.
We are also collaborating on Letters to Daniel this summer, where you will be portraying my mother. What kind of preparation goes into inhabiting any role, much less a real life one?
For me, it is studying the script over and over again and finding out, you know, most of the time the important things about your role are in between the lines. It's what other people say. It's how, for example, my daughter turns out. It says a lot about the mom, what I did, you know, just observing my daughter's journey in the script. So it's just script study, and then obviously the lines and you go into the character. How do these people you portray grow up? What's the environment? What does their everyday look like? What do they dream of? What unfulfilled dreams do they have? There's also this whole other level of, you know, relationships. How is the marriage? Like it goes studying. It's the complex study of a human being. Oh. And the more time you have to prep, the more interesting, you know, your work journey is as an actor.
Okay. Letters to Daniel takes an unvarnished look at mental illness and its impact on both the caregiver and the individual with the illness. What compelled you to take the role of my mother, and why?
Just you asking me. Oh, anything. Because I know, the network is the most important thing we can have, and we are always looking for. I'm a producer as well, not just an actor. I'm a director as well. I know I need people that are on the same wavelength with me. That is super important. I want to have people that honor my work, and vice versa. And with you, I just knew there's no way that I cannot not do that and support it. Like, it was a yes the moment you asked.
Has your life ever been touched by mental illness? If so, how so?
Totally. So I had this eating disorder, right? Let's start.
Right.
And I wrote extensively about it. I hope my 3-book series that I wrote over 7 years, where I kind of unfolded the pattern of addiction, because I, for some reason, always knew that this is not me, but this is rather something like a program that's running in me. So I'm very experienced with mental illness, because I was mentally ill, and we all are in certain stages of our lives. We experience it, like hardship. And for the eating disorder, through my studies, I came to notice that, because I met a lot of people with eating disorders in particular, they have suffered from, they have been abused in one way or the other. I was mentally abused by a teacher. I had sounds a bit strange probably, but it was a very traumatic time for me, and I was trying to talk to so many people. And because maybe I was a teenager and 13 years old, people thought, yeah, my teacher hates me. Okay, just chin up. But fact is, sometimes, you're really stuck in a situation and you don't know how to help yourself. And then you try to unleash those negative emotions. Your brain is not fully developed yet. You don't know how to respond rather than react. And then you have all these other lovely tools that you can experience with, like alcohol, which was a helper, or smoking pot. And so suddenly you are in this spiral of addiction, and your body chemistry is out of whack. And body chemistry out of whack, Amy, I believe you know exactly what that means. Then your body is running, and your brain is running on autopilot, and needs that unhealthy thing or behavior, right? Like eating disorders are behavioral illness. So very familiar with the topic.
Okay. You are originally from Germany. Mm-hmm. How is the issue of serious mental illness discussed there as opposed to the United States?
That is a good question, because my recovery process happened completely on my own. I never talked to a therapist or anybody about it. There is definitely a big shame, stigma attached to it in Germany. I don't remember that there was, at the time when I was a student, that there was any outreach, because I was a student and I was like going off the rails, and there was not really anything in place. So I think the Germans are a little bit, at least back at the time, behind in many ways. On the other hand, in America, when I moved to the United States, the very first thing I was shocked about was in the pharmacies, the pill Bible, right? There was like a booklet about all the over-the-counter drugs that they are. And I was like, wow, America seems to take a lot of medications, because that's the thing Germans don't do. They have like a more holistic approach. They would prescribe homeopathy very easily, and we have health insurance there. So it's very different, I would say. And here's a lot of prescription. There are a lot of, how should I say, more cutting edge approaches to healing, but also a lot more business oriented approach to healing. Yeah, I would say Germany is slow moving, stagnant, more natural, but not very cutting edge. And America is like the big variety of all sorts, where when you find great support, you boom, you can really benefit fast and recover more successfully and faster. But if you land on the wrong hands, ouch.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that, especially with dosing up people to make them shut up. I worked in a facility undercover for the third part of my book. And depending on the therapist, like so many people, just the education they had, I don't think that would fly in Germany, that failed screenwriters could become a therapist in charge of picking prescription drugs and not knowing what they're doing. And just that person literally said, oh, that girl, just those are up higher to make her shut up. You know, I think you would like not work ever again.
Yes. What advice would you give to young actors and actresses coming up in the film industry on how to manage the stress and insecurities and anxiety that can come with the acting life?
I would highly recommend to the best friend that you can ever have is yourself. If you don't route for yourself, if you don't pat yourself on the back, and if you don't listen to yourself, nobody will. So if you have anxieties, or if you try to need to be somewhere else instead of right here right now, just check in with yourself and try to get a self-soothing system in place, like things that calm you down and feel good, so that you are in this wholesome place. Because if you're trying to run after that carrot dangling in front of your nose that you will never reach, it is being headed for a life of torture and misery.
What works for you if or when you find yourself going through a hard time?
As I just said, the self-soothing techniques. I know I've learned over the time healthy boundary setting, and I know I have to recharge my batteries. I have to just take care of the basics, that I eat nutritious, healthy, delicious food, and I need to take the time to sometimes, I hope like many times, make the food myself, put in love, so that my body is nourished. Same counts for drinking, resting. I meditate, and I highly recommend it, because it's something where you can develop this friendship with yourself. If you're spiritual, or if you believe in God, I do believe in God. That's my time, my spiritual hygiene, if you want. And if I don't do it for a day, I start feeling anxious about things, and then it piles up, so I'm trying just to have a routine of vital self-soothing survival. And hot baths. I'm a huge sucker for bathtub. When everything breaks down, now you find me in the bathtub, but the door is locked. It's just
Okay, and finally, let's have a little fun.
Yeah.
If your life was a movie, what would the title be?
Awesome school. Rock. I think
Okay.
life is school, and I think if you see it that way and learn your lessons and approach it as there's like meaning in everything, you are in for a treat. And it's so much fun because you can spin it as fast, fun, and vibrant and beautiful as you want. And suddenly somebody says you're the queen, and you say, you know what, in my movie I'm gonna accept that role. Or somebody asks you to be the mother, and you say, yep, I'm gonna be the mother, if it's in your movie or in my real life, of my kids. If you're happy, life's happy.
If you could cast anybody in the cinematic universe as you, who would it be?
Myself, because I don't want to put anyone to the shit that I've went through that I sometimes.
Dell had the same answer.
Oh,
He said himself.
interesting. That's why we're good friends. We're like,
If you could work with any director on a studio picture, who would it be and why?
I think Julie Taymor, is that her name? She directed a Wicked. She does the Shakespeare movies, and she's just so freaking awesome. She did the Lion King musical.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would love to see more of her stuff. I remember she just, every time I watch one of her movies, blows my mind, because she goes to really like projects that nobody touches and makes them so deep and fun and alive. She's so talented, Julie Taymor.
If you could work with any wait, I asked you that. What is your dream project to work on and why?
My dream project.
Yes.
My dream project right now, because I guess dreams always change, would be, there's this script I wrote. It's called A Love Scene, and it's a comedy, a romantic comedy. And I would love to direct that and star in it.
Then do it.
Yeah. And turns out, like those directing jobs are coming, and I really enjoy it. And a couple of months ago, I would not have thought about maybe also wanting to direct it. But I think it would be a very fun journey, because I just know the story and the characters, and I know what I'm doing as a director as well. So that would be, I think, heaps of fun with the right team.
And lastly, do you have any words of wisdom for struggling creatives?
Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Hold out, because it's all about just enduring, and don't measure your value on other people's thoughts, because you know your milestones. And if you're moving forward every day, in whatever way that means, even if it means you're sticking with it that day, you're doing it. Because if you're not doing it because you think, oh, I'm not meeting my own expectations, you will very likely get bitter and regret it. And we are human artists. I believe every human has it in them to create beauty. And if you're not doing that because you think you're not making enough money or whatever, then the price you have to pay is higher than not doing it.
Yes. If I can put on a cast of 44, because that's how many are in Letters to Daniel, I always tell people no one else is going to do it. No one else is going to believe in your project in the beginning. It has to be you.
Yeah.
If you wait for the perfect moment, time will pass you by.
That's right.
Okay, John, you want to come on?
I don't.
I see you though.
So that was a great interview. You guys, I had to shut down the broadcast.
What?
Yeah. The broadcasting software went out 10 minutes in. Just so you know.
Oh no.
But I recorded the whole interview, so I'm going to have to go wait for it to render and then just kind of slide it into the software again as a replay and get it back up on the site.
Good.
Oh, boo.
So, yes, boo. Boo, and something might be wrong with my computer, so let's hold off until I diagnose the computer this week to make sure we're okay for live streaming still.
Okay.
Because it was doing crazy stuff.
I have 2 interviews lined up.
Okay. I'm working. I'll get on it ASAP.
Because look, I totally delved into my AOF and Indie Gathering families.
I think it's awesome. And Annabelle, you did a great job. Good personal interview. Definitely a great tie-in with eating disorders and kind of what you had to overcome. And then just your overall general positive outlook towards life and being a creative and meeting your goals. So
Thank you.
Yep. So I'm going to let this render, Amy. I'm going to give it some time tomorrow afternoon when the kids are sleeping to attempt to rebroadcast. And what I'll do is I'll just attempt to rebroadcast right to the page. So I'll go on live and do an intro and say, here's the full interview.
Okay.
Were
Okay.
people watching? I didn't even go on Facebook.
There were 3 people.
Well,
Yeah, there were a bunch of views, and then it was like people weren't staying because it wasn't coming through.
Yeah. Thanks,
And
people.
yeah, I don't know if it was the internet, Annabelle and Amy, or if it's the software, or if it's the settings. So the settings really haven't changed. So I don't know. I might just need to restart, but it might be a computer problem.
Maybe that fraudulent therapist was listening.
I think it all started when you said, "No, we're not live," or "No one's listening." That was when they came in.
That's right. Hey,
All right.
guys, you can now stop bothering us listening in the Ether aliens.
Yeah, now that you ruined our broadcast.
Oh. You're going to be abducted.
But great interview.
Thank you, honey. And nice to meet you. And
good to meet you.
You're the line producer.
Good to meet you. Hopefully I'll meet you. Well, I definitely will meet you in June, and then maybe again in Vegas if I'm allowed out of the house.
Because he's going to be at the private screening. I'm trying to get Missy. I bought Missy. A friend of mine donated the money for me to buy the Writers Award dinner ticket for Missy. And Katharina's like, you got to come to Venus. You got to come to Venus. I'm like, we have no money.
I know. Isn't it on the same night? Isn't there something going on that Thursday?
The writers gathering on Wednesday.
Best is to ask Belle, like with the organization, because I think there is something going on. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm confused.
I submitted submitted 3 episodes of there are 9 episodes of pre-recorded Recovery Unplugged. Mm-hmm. And none of them, like all the live ones have been longer than the longest pre-recorded. And I submitted the first 3 episodes to AOF, and then I submitted an episode to Hollywood Dreams, and then I submitted the pitch. I can't believe all those projects got into your festival. I'm
gonna submit a recording of the interview with Dell to AOF as myself and see what he does.
Exactly. So because I'm Dell.